anytime any foreign matter, agent, whatever you want to call it, gets into the aquifer has ebbs and tides and flows just like the ocean. Once it's in there, it's everywhere.
Truly, I think they just had grant money, and they bought this stuff and needed to get rid of it.
I have interviewed other neighbors and they're experiencing the same things. And it's too much of a coincidence that everybody is experiencing bloody noses, headaches, swallowing difficulties.
The product that was used on this is something that is not available. You just can't buy it. It's something that has to be purchased by a licensed applicator, and then it has to be recorded with a spray log or something along those lines that records exactly what happened, when it happened, how much was put on, and what the product was. And so this is a very tightly controlled product because of this situation right here.
Common sense prevails here. It's a pretty simple process. But this is pumice. And like I said in the first page of the application instructions, do not apply in porous soils. Pumice is about as porous a soil as there is. Even sand is heavier than this pumice. Everything goes right straight through it.
I'm still trying to burn the stumps. These two trees over here were the last two that were taken down up front here. And they were also, you can tell when this stuff hits it because they start, the needles on there start turning really brown.
I had 23 total trees that were affected, all bigger than, and none were that small.
What the trees that were dying out would look like before they started dying out. They weren't limbed all the way to the ground as these were, but they were thick and full from where the limbs started. And this is what they look like now, and this has been a year since a little better than a year since we first saw the problem.
How much is this tree worth? The arborist valued this tree about $59,000, but it's irreplaceable. It's a 250-year tree. It cannot be replaced.
I had plum trees, I had the two pear trees, I had apple trees, cherry trees, and nectarines. I also had black cherry and peaches up front, and they're all dead.
Chemical trespass, according to the information I've read, is if you spray a chemical outside of in this case the county, outside of my property line, and it does damage inside my property line, whether it's sprayed over the boundary or it's absorbed through the roots, that's chemical trespass.
My 300-pound St. Bernard ended up dropping half his body weight, and he couldn't walk. We were picking him up, having to pick him up and move him around. The dogs lost their hair. It was awful. And I mean, these dogs have beautiful coats, and it was down to nothing.
You know, if the county thinks you've got a problem, they should send you a notice saying, if you don't cure this within so many days, we'll send a crew out to do it, and then we'll charge you. I mean, that makes sense to me. It is your responsibility to take care of your weeds, and so don't just come and kill all my trees.
He said, well, this is coming from Klamath County, and I said, well, is this stuff safe? And he says, well, it's safe enough to drink. And I should have asked him if he wanted a glass at that point. I should have asked him if he wanted to drink some for me, but I didn't.
You can drink a lot of things. You know, doesn't mean you should. They said that thing's a synthetic hormone or something like that.
Roots of my trees probably got in the middle of the road. That stuff went right through the pumice, even though the instructions say don't apply in poor soils, and that's what absorbed it. The trees absorbed the picloram through the ground, through the roots, and then up through the sap system in the tree, and that's what killed them. it.